Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, we're here opening day 2025 in the 10th season, if you can believe that, of Section 420 Talkin Yankees. So thank you for watching all this time here, but we've got an opening day episode for you. Of course, you probably know a lot of the news stories already, with the opening day there, but of course, the Yankees make a little tweaks with the roster there, so in case you weren't paying attention or you're watching the game a little bit, you're like, wait, where's some of my favorite Yankees like DJ LeMahieu or Giancarlo Stanton? Maybe you're just tuned out for the last couple of months, but nevertheless, we'll get you caught up in everything. The Yankees also adding another lefty to the mix there as well there, so get you caught up in all that great stuff there. Before we get started though, you might have heard there's an audio podcast version of the show, so look, as much as you want to see me, you want to see me, you like to see the stadium, but maybe you want to hear me more, you want to get updates and news flash, stuff like that, you got to be an audio podcast subscriber. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, look for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, and subscribe. If you're watching right now on YouTube, say, I love this show, I want to see it more often, just crush the subscribe button's right down there, so crush the subscribe button. And of course, you watch on TV, you got double duties here, so you got to go to the audio podcast, get that, as well as get the YouTube channel, get the whole enchilada. Now, the past couple of seasons here at Section 420 Talkin Yankees, we've been using the desk. Now, obviously, we're out here at the Yankee Stadium, so I can't bring the desk with me. Would be awesome if I can, but I'll meet you halfway. So I have the paper. So I know as much as you want the desk, at least I can meet you halfway, you got the paper here. So, of course, the Yankees had a whole slew of injuries this spring. Of course, we all know about Garrett Cole getting the Tommy John surgery, and we know Luis Heel, obviously, he's going to be on the IL at least about June. Not even sure yet, but I just want to give you a full rundown again, maybe because you lost track of all these injuries because there have been so many there. So as I mentioned before, Cole out for the season, as we all know, Luis Heel. Now, the Yankees placed him on the 60-day IL, so again, he's going to be gone for at least 60 days there. And again, we don't even know when he's coming back. Probably June, but there's some others there you're not sure come back, now they're coming back there, so I got the full list for you. So we'll start, of course, with DJ LeMahieu, had the calf injury. Now he's doing baseball activities there, but there's really no timetable, and right now you're looking at May at best there. So, and again, DJ, we know the issue with him, you're not really dying to have him back there. We know he's been struggling physically, and of course at the plate a little bit, and again, probably a lot of some of his physical ailments he has been carrying to the plate there. It's going to be rough for DJ. We all know the situation with him. I mean, he's almost at the last rope there. He has a year and a year left on the contract this year and next year. And then, the Yankees are kind of, if he has struggled a little bit, you cut him like you do with Aaron Hicks. So it's going to be kind of an interesting season for DJ LeMahieu. I even think that this season, fans are going to finally, start booing him a little bit. Not that he deserves to be booed, but he had the two awesome seasons, of course, from that, and that's kind of saved him a bit. But if he really starts to struggle this season there, I think finally the fans are going to give him like the Joey Gallo Donaldson treatment, unfortunately. So hopefully DJ, when he does come back, at least gets off on a good foot. Nevertheless, we've got some other guys there. Of course, we know what Clark Schmidt. He came into the with a sore shoulder into this season there, so he'll be all right there, but he still has to build up his stamina a little bit there. So, but he's probably not going to be there at the start of the season. But they probably want to get him a couple of starts there down in Florida. Then he'll come rejoin New York. But again, a little shoulder soreness there with that. Of course, Tyler Mazik, the lefty the Yankees brought in here, obviously a couple years ago was really good with the Braves. Been struggling recently. He's kind of one of those cash bin, bargain bin kind of guys bringing here. Hope for the best there, but he's dealing with an oblique issue. But he has been throwing some bullpen sessions. Most recently, he threw his third one there where he went kind of heavy, as they say. But again, he's probably not going to be that at least for the start of the season, but at least you have him floating around there. And of course, Ian Hamilton dealing with the weird infection thing, so he's kind of just shut down for a while now until he can get his strength and stamina back there. Now, Scott Efros, he threw one pitch this spring, and he pulled a hammy there. Obviously, they gave him the injection thing. Now, he's throwing some bullpen sessions, so at some point, he will be able to join the team. Now, again, Scott Efros, man, a couple of seasons ago, again, it was a good pickup for the Yankees, but unfortunately he's been hurt, had the Tommy John surgery, then the weird back injury a year ago as well. But again, if the Yankees could add that weapon to the bullpen, again, he's a guy who has a bit of a sidewinder, very tough against righties there. So if he could rejoin his team, which seemed like he is, it'll be great. Really big for the Yankee bullpen there. And then Clayton Beater. Obviously, he came into camp with a sore shoulder. It hasn't been pitched much at all. As Brian Cashman said, that he's going to be a while. So if you're looking forward to Clayton Beater, it's probably not going to be for a long while to see this guy there. But I just think the fact that if you get Scott Efros and Jonathan Loaiza, don't forget about him. Obviously, he's coming back from the UCL surgery from last year. You add those weapons to this Yankee bullpen right now, which is looking very, very deep bullpen there. Really big for the Yankees. Obviously, guys can get hurt along the way there, but this Yankee bullpen, I think Brian Cashman took a page out of the Dodgers doing. Remember the Dodgers last season? They didn't have a great starting rotation, but they had a sick bullpen where 4 or 5 innings they could bring out a guy there to shut you down. So I think that's what the Yankees and Brian Cashman are looking to do, is have that deep bullpen for October, which we didn't have last season. Basically, it was kind of like Cousins, Canely, Weaver, and Holmes, and by the time those four kind of go through them pretty quick there. So I think the Yankees will have a deep bullpen for this October. So that seems to be the plan. Now, the Yankees added another lefty before the start of the season. You probably caught it, but probably think why they do this. Well, as I mentioned before, Tyler Mazik. has a hurt oblique injury there, so he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. Now, the Yankees did sign Tim Hill, brought him back very early on there before this, but of course, you always want 2 lefties in the pens, of course, like that, so needed another arm there, so the Yankees got Ryan Yarbrough. Now, he's like, why did they sign this guy? Obviously, had a good season last year for him. Now, last season, obviously, you might know his name before. It was split time between being a starter or reliever. Well, last season was his first season. He was a full-time reliever, so I guess he's fully transitioned as a reliever. Now, he's 33 years old, so relatively young. Now, it's a 1-year deal for $2 million. Now, there's another $250K there in incentive, so he hits all these goals and innings pitched, stuff like that. He could make a little bit more money for him. And again, he has familiarity of the AL East and pitched with the Rays in the past. Split time last season between the Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, he was in camp for Toronto this season, but similar to what we see with some Yankee players do, he actually opted out of his deal to probably get a better contract, and he did get a better contract by the Yankees by the tune of $2 million there. And you look, why is Brian Cashman interested in this guy? Well, he had a 29.4% hard hit ratio, and that's the second amongst pitchers in baseball last season with a minimum of 300 batters. So what does that really mean? That means basically he gets weak contact. So basically a lot of play when batters swing against him, he induces a lot of weak ground balls and so forth there. So you can kind of see the interest Cashman had in this guy there. So now you got to watch out for that a little bit, because sometimes you get those little bleepers and bloopers there. And Mariano Rivera have the same problem there, where you can't feel the ball because it's not hard hit enough to go to an infielder there, but it just taps a little bit. It's a little too far for the catcher there. So it's kind of one of those in between things. But a good solid move for the Yankees. I liked it, the deal, and probably in the long term you'll probably see him here, and maybe Tyler Mazik doesn't make it. I'll root for Tyler Mazik, but it seems like his best years are all been behind him. He has been on the decline a little bit. His fastball has gone down to miles per hour there, so he's lost a little velocity on the fastball there. So of the two of them, you'll probably see Yarbrough much more than you will see Mazik. Obviously, if he makes it great there, but you're probably looking to right now have Tim Hill and Yarbrough as your 2 main lefties, and that's probably what you're going to get for the long term. Well, everyone loves the kids, so the Yankees are going to have 2 of them at the start of the season. And that's, of course, going to be Ben Rice, who we talked the last episode. He's been absolutely killing it in spring training there with the long ball. Again, the whole thing where he added 10 pounds to himself. And again, Aaron Boone really impressed with him there. So, of course, he on the opening day roster, as well as Jason Dominguez. No surprise there. Now, it's going to be Jason Dominguez, obviously, is going to be a little bit interesting in left field there. I think it's still a hold-your-breath type of situation there. But, of course, Ben Rice, he's pretty much going to be the DH with Giancarlo Stanton going to be out for a while there. Again, we kind of mentioned the whole thing with the elbows there. No one's going to be back there. So, obviously, the DH spot gives the Yankees a little flexibility there. So, it seems like this is the way that things are shaping up right now. Ben Rice is probably going to get a lot of those bats there in the DH spot. But, of course, with Dominguez, if he has some struggles in the outfield there, that's another option possibly. You can maybe give him some DH spots there as well, so he's not, messing the ball over the field. Now, again, over the long term, I think Bellinger at some point probably going to switch with Dominguez. Again, I'd rather have Dominguez play his natural center field and let Bellinger go into left field there. I've beaten that death over the spring there, nevertheless, but we'll see if that even happens. But again, the one little slight silver lining of Stanton being out there is that, it frees up the DH spot where, again, if Dominguez does struggle in the outfield there, you can put him in the DH spot a little bit and maybe have, Trent Grisham or something like that play left field there. So the Yankees have a little flexibility there, and then when Stanton comes back, you got to figure that all out. And, of course, Ben Rice, we know what he could do. They tried a little him as a catcher there. You thought maybe it might have been in the backup catcher there, but I think this Boone was just experimenting a little bit there. Ben Rice primarily is going to probably be a DH. Can play a little first base as well there, and of course maybe come off the bench late in the game there. So, and this is what we've been waiting for. And with Jason Dominguez, this is finally time. Last season we kind of got a little gypped a little bit with him. We didn't really get to see him. He came very late there, and he got like 1 at bat against Detroit. And of course Boone didn't use him at all in the postseason. I don't even know why he was on the postseason roster. I understand you want to go with the good defense if you do go there, but this is really really first time I'm going to see a full-time Jason Dominguez, see what he could bring to the table there. And again, he's not someone you really think about there, but again, we saw 2 seasons ago when he came up just for like 8 games, he had like 4 home runs there. So hopefully he can stay healthy there, and he's going to have to really going to contribute, because without the loss of Stanton there, you're losing home runs, you're losing some RBIs there. So someone else is going to make it up. One of the people going to make that up is, of course, Jason Dominguez. I mentioned earlier, Yankees signing Ryan Yarbrough because he opted out of his deal with Toronto. Well, the Yankees had some of the same thing happen to them, kind of due to different outcomes. One of them, of course, would be Dom Smith, who had a really good spring for the Yankees, had 3 home runs, was catching some eyes there, but he decided to opt out of his deal, which was kind of understandable. So you're having a good spring there, and it didn't seem like there was really a place for him on the team, on the roster there. Because you look at first base, it's kind of clogged out a little bit. Obviously, you just signed Paul Goldschmidt. He's going to get the majority of time there. Ben Rice, who I made the team there, he's probably going to also get some time there at first base. Again, he's a really natural first baseman. And of course, you look at someone like DJ LeMay, who's going to come up, sometime in the near future there. He's probably going to also take up some spots at first base. Again, Boone has used him at first base a lot the past couple of seasons there. So again, you almost have like three first basemen. So kind of like, where would Dom Smith play? So I can understand Dom Smith want to do that. Again, I just don't think he'll get enough playing time. And again, he did have a good spring there. So maybe he figure, let me opt out of the deal and maybe I get a starting job somewhere else there. So yeah, again, it all just made sense, because Dom Smith, I don't know what the Yankees were going to do with him. If he made the team, I mean, he would probably been riding the bench. Maybe he would be a pinch hitter once in a while there, but it didn't seem like a real role for him. He probably should be a starter. So again, that's probably why he wanted to opt out of the deal to get a starter. Now, for the other one, Carlos Carrasco for the Yankees, I mentioned that on the audio podcast that this was probably going to happen. Obviously, March 21st, he turned 38 years old, and then a day after that, March 22nd, he had the ability to also opt out of his deal. Again, the Yankees signed him to a minor league deal because they really know what they're going to get with the guy. But again, he's had a fantastic spring, and of course, he's going to crack the Yankees starting five rotation at least for the start of the season and see how that goes for him. But with Carrasco, he decided to re-sign with the Yankees, so even though he opted out of the deal, staying with the team, of course, there. And again, we'll just see how long it's going to last, and obviously got an opportunity for him to shine. He struggled for the past couple of seasons, kind of, did the tail of tape of a couple episodes ago, but, even though he had a horrible record the past couple of seasons, what the Yankees liked about him was his swing and miss stuff. Again, his percentage of, getting swing and misses, that never really fell, and that's kind of close to his career average there. So, and that's what he's been doing, pretty much this spring, while he's been, getting a lot of good attention there, and that's why Boone's been impressed with him. Now, he did tweak a few things in the offseason. He seems to brought that in, and of course he has a relationship with pitching coach Matt Blake. Goes back to their Cleveland days there, so you have that lineage there. So far it seemed to work out, and look, it's an opportunity that worked for him. Did the Yankees think that Garrett Cole be gone for the year with Tommy John surgery? No. Did you plan on Luis Heel being out for a couple of seasons with, a couple of months for the lat issue? No. So, that's why sometimes you always play, put there, and you got a time to shine there. So he's going to get an opportunity there. And he was someone the Yankees really signed just kind of, maybe they're just going to test him out this spring, or maybe you park him in AAA and all right, you got to bring him up once in a while because, the way April and May works out there, the weather-wise, you have a lot of rain-outs and double headers and stuff like that there, just because the weather is a little bit funky in spring there. So, you always need something like that. You want to keep in AAA, just got to bring him for a spot start. Well, it looks like it turned out to going to be. He's going to be in at least the starting rotation, at least through the first few cycles there. We'll see how it goes. Again, the schedule and the weather is kind of funky in April and May there. So, the Yankees don't need a traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we would maybe in the middle of the month there. So we'll see how many starts he gets. We'll see how long he lasts there. Again, he could be a situation like J.C. Escara that maybe doesn't go the distance there. We don't know. Again, he's 38 years old. But again, he's had a bit of a renaissance this season. And we've seen the Yankees do that with some past players. Remember Bartolo Colon came here for a while. Freddie Garcia, who was like a hard thrower for so many years with the Chicago White Sox, came to the Yankees, gave him some good quality starts there. So he seems to be the same type of guy. So we'll see how long the Yankees ride it out there. But, at least with Carlos Carrasco and J.C. Escara, really, it should be a lesson to like this never give up. So, in J.C. Escara's situation there, again, not that he was old there, but it looked like he wasn't going to make it, but he finally it just clicked with him in the spring. And Carrasco would have been so easy if this took, packing in at age 37, 38. We had 2 miserable seasons. I mean, he was like 3-13 last season there, but he didn't quit and he came back, and now he's got a job with the Yankees. We'll see how long it goes. And of course, the other starting spot in the rotation is going to go to Will Warren, who's again also been impressive this spring. He was kind of a bit of a shoe-in early on there, but Carrasco had to compete a little bit. Now, once Clark Schmidt comes back, they can make things a little interesting. We'll see where it goes from there. But obviously, if they're all pitching well and it makes a tough decision for Boone, that's good news for Yankee fans. So I'm going to call this a bit of a commercial break, a little interlude there, just to take a little break on the news. Now, look, I like the Yankees. You like the Yankees. You want to hear me talk about the Yankees. But, you're like, well, where can I hear you? Where can I find you? Well, if you haven't done it already, I mentioned at the top, wherever you get your favorite podcast, look for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Subscribe there. And, of course, again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe there as well. Get notified when new episodes go up. And if you just flip around TV, you say, hey, I like this, but, I want to see it online. I want to see it on my phone. I want to see it on my laptop. Well, you got to do double duty there. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, look for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Get the audio version of the show, updated much more frequently. And, of course, you have the video version. We like the video and the audio, but so you have to get both there. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. Now back to the Yankees. So in case you're maybe not sure how this Yankee lineup and roster and position plays are going to shake out, again, maybe he just took the entire offseason off because he was so miserable after that Game 5 of the Dodgers. He just totally tuned out baseball in spring training there. So I get you up to speed on probably what you're going to be looking at for at least the start of the season there. So I guess we'll go around the horn as they say. And of course, they say first base there. And first base, you're looking at Paul Goldschmidt, who they signed, obviously 37 years old. But again, he had a little bit of a bumpy last season there, but he recovered, had a really good second half, has had a really good spring. And it seems like he's going to have at least a strong start of the season. And we kind of mentioned this the previous episode here on YouTube, kind of went through some of the batting averages, hitting well over 300 in spring. Again, had a very good spring for him. Now, there was a little bit of a back issue. We had to get pulled out of a game there, but it seemed like nothing major. It was sort of precautionary, and he said he'd be fine for the start of the season there. But let's just see, does that back creep up with him in April or May? Hopefully not there. But again, you look at Paul Goldschmidt as your starting first baseman. Now, for backup first baseman, you're going to get probably a little Ben Rice as well, who I mentioned before, who was tearing the cover off the ball. But probably mostly going to be Paul Goldschmidt, the right-handed bat, but then you have Ben Rice, the lefty at bat there, if you want to mix and match. Second base, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Now, of course, the Yankees had him last season playing third base, and the whole backstory with that was that actually they wanted him to play second base, and they were going to ask Gleyber Torres to move to third. He refused to do. Not really a good team player there, and you kind of see why the Yankees were a bit of sour on him anyway. Go sign to Detroit Tigers, and now Jazz can now play second base for the Yankees. And again, when he came up originally with the Marlins, he was a second baseman, so he was a natural second baseman. Now, over the years, he did shift and play some shortstop as well as third base, where the Yankees had him last season, and he was really good for the Yankees. I thought maybe you had to hold your breath a little bit, especially during the playoffs there, but he really didn't have any issues. It was like one of the games, I think, during the Royal Series, he had one little miscue there at third base, but again, plays solid defender for the Yankees there, but now he's going to be at his natural second base, which I think is very exciting for the Yankees. And, Gleyber Torres, again, he was the past couple of seasons, he was always up there in most errors since 2021 there, so a bit of a struggle for the Yankees there. I think Jazz obviously shows up there. He has a much stronger arm than Gleyber Torres, and, with the Yankees, turning the double play, it's been a bit of an issue with them over the past couple of seasons, so now I think the fact that you have Jazz there receiving the ball at second base and be able to fling that to first base much quicker than probably Gleyber could there, I think that definitely improves the Yankee defense, which then again helps the pitchers throw less pitches. And the shortstop hole, of course, we got the hometown hero, Anthony Volpe, now in his third season. Kind of crazy. Remember, he was a rookie. Well, now he's almost getting a bit of a veteran there, growing up in front of our eyes there. Now, his first season, again, he was a Gold Glover at the shortstop. Didn't get the award last season there, but he still improved. Again, you see some errors from him a little bit. Now, batting-wise, he kind of got off to a really good start for the Yankees, but then kind of went downhill. Again, there was a while there where he was the Yankee leadoff hitter there, especially after that Houston series. He really was doing well, but then, of course, seemed to struggle a little bit. Boone had to send him down a bit lower in the batting order there. Now, he never got as bad where they had to send him to the minors. Even though you had a lot of people calling into Sports Talk Radio and asking for it there, but whatever. He kept his head on a swivel there and made it into obviously in the postseason. And it seemed like a totally different player in the postseason. Really good at bats there. I mean, he was taking a lot of walks and not swinging at bad pitches there. So hopefully he could kind of take what he did in the postseason. Which I also got to give credit to Gleyber Torres too, when he was leading off for the Yankees as well. Again, took a lot of walks. Didn't swing at bad pitches there and put himself in good hitters counts there. So hopefully Volpe can do that on the batting side. And of course, defensively, you don't worry about him too much there. And it seemed like, this offseason, Boone has mentioned there's a little bit of a camaraderie now with his new double play partner in Jazz Chisholm Jr. there. So the two of them kind of being like, Batman and Robin a little bit. Maybe you got a little sort of Alan Trammell, Luke Whitaker thing going on there. Too hard to tell there. But, I think with Volpe, you okay with his defense. You just want him to kind of take that next step batting-wise there. You got off a good start last season and then kind of, filtered out there a little bit. So hopefully he could, just be hitting well the entire way. Now, third base is going to be a little tricky for the Yankees. Now, no one really had an outstanding spring, but sort of like the lesser of three evils. You're probably going to get a lot of Oswaldo Cabrera at third base there, so you'll see how the Yankees go with it. It's kind of, he never really got a full-time position all to himself where he could really showcase what he could do there. So, hopefully he takes the bull by horns and runs with it. But again, Yankees might, I would say, probably by sometime the trade deadline, might have to make a move for kind of an established full-time third baseman, sort of like a Nolan Arenado who's getting thrown around out there. But it seems like maybe the asking price for him is too much there, so the Yankees kind of went in-house, and it seems like Oswaldo Cabrera is probably going to get most of those at-bats and again starts, at least for the start of the season there. But again, I can see a situation that doesn't last there, but hopefully I'm wrong. When we saw Cabrera first come up a couple of seasons ago, he was great for the Yankees, was hitting home runs, again, he was playing all the positions there. And then the year after that, 2023, he kind of took took a little backstop a little bit, but 2024, same thing there. He had his good moments, bad moments there, but he never really got a position all to himself where he could play every day and we could see what he's fully capable of. So hopefully this is the season that happens, but again, I just have a feeling that it's not going to last too long. And of course, once DJ LeMahieu comes back, he's going to probably also get some starts and get some at-bats there at the third base position there. So it's going to be a little bit of a mishmash for the Yankees. I'd rather them have an established full-time everyday third baseman, but it doesn't seem like to be the case. But at least for the start of the season, it's going to be probably a lot of Cabrera. And no-brainer, Austin Wells is going to be a starting catcher. Obviously, he took the job last season from Jose Trevino, who was struggling a little bit, not only offensively, but of course defensively. Remember that disastrous game at Fenway where the Red Sox swiped 9 bases. That was kind of seemed like the last straw, and obviously at that point, kind of Wells became the full-time catcher for the Yankees. And hitting-wise, got off to a really good start. He got to the point where Boone was putting him into the cleanup position there, but obviously then he started to struggle a little bit with bat there, and I think Boone stuck with him in the cleanup position just a little bit too long, but nevertheless, kind of recovered from there. But of course, this spring, fantastic spring, batting average-wise, home run-wise there. So Wells, obviously, I think looks like a better version of himself, even of last season there, and he's going to be there for the start of the way. Where last season he kind of entered the season as the backup catcher there, but now he's going to be the full-time starting catcher for the Yankees. And again, if he has the season, at least the spring. That he's been doing well with, he carries that over into the regular season. Really good news for the Yankees. Again, you want to get guys on base in front of Aaron Judge, and of course, it seemed like the way they're going to shake the lineup out a little bit, you're going to probably get a lot of Wells start leading off, Judge batting second, and then Bellinger in the third slot there. And I'm not crazy about that thing. I would rather maybe Judge be a number 3 hitter like that. I know the Yankees have toyed with this, and I know Wells is not your typical leadoff hitter, but it's really been a problem with the Yankees going back several years. I always say the Yankees really haven't had a true leadoff hitter since Chuck Knobloch almost 20 years ago there. So they seem to put these guys Judge leading off and Rizzo leading off, stuff like that. So again, is Wells your ideal leadoff hitter? No, you don't want someone like a speedster up there to get on base and steal base, stuff like that. But the fact if he has a high on base percentage, if he can just get on base there, then Judge can hit a 2-run home run. So that's what you're going for, kind of the two-run home run. Now, third base, I think left field is probably going to be a bit of a merry-go-round for the Yankees. Now, at the start of the season, they want to go with Jason Dominguez, which, again, I have my reservations is going to be successful out there. Again, we see him struggle a little bit last season as well, a bit in the spring there, so it's going to be a bit of a work in progress. I just think they should just go, again, I'm beating it to death a little bit. He should go to the natural center field and let Bellinger, the veteran, play left field there, but we'll see how it goes, at least for the start there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just, it clicks in for Dominguez. He becomes a good left fielder. Of course, Yankee Stadium is unique where they always say you almost need a center fielder's range to play left field in Yankee Stadium there. So, I mean, at least range-wise, that makes sense there. But, the angles on the ball is, again, he's still young. He's 22 years old there. Can he learn these angles in time? Because, you figure, all right, he's going to have some lumps and headaches there as you're learning the position there, but you don't want it costing the game. So we'll see how if you get for the start for the season there, if it works out or not. But again, if it comes to a situation where he's dropping a lot of balls and a lot of balls fall in the gap and giving up a lot of doubles, stuff like that there, then they'll have to switch him out. But at least for the start of the season, they'll give it a try. Now, for the first time in 2 seasons, the Yankees have someone else but Aaron Judge playing center field, and that's, of course, Cody Bellinger, who the Yankees got this offseason. Obviously, he's a veteran. He could play all 3 positions, as well as first base if the Yankees need him in a pinch there. So, again, the Yankees almost have 4 first basemen if you're thinking of it. But for center field, I like the idea by Boone and Cashman. Again, Judge getting a little bit older there. Obviously, he's still going to be in his prime offensively. So, again, if you can move him out of center field, again, just less tollage on his body there, the better. So, Judge going back to his right field there. So, I like the move. And, of course, Bellinger having an outstanding spring, and I think he's going to have a really good season for the Yankees. Again, is he Juan Soto? No, but I think he's a click under that, and I think power-wise, hitting at Yankee Stadium, I can see him hitting 30-plus home runs there, so looking forward for a good season from Bellinger, and of course, giving the big man a little bit more rest out in right field. And the big man, last but not least, number 99 in the 9th position there, in right field there, where he belongs. Again, I just like the idea that, take him at, he's been really great in center field. You're getting excellent defense for a big guy who can move around. But again, all the stuff like diving into the wall and banging the wall, stuff like that, you don't want that for the big guy. You'd rather have him out in right field. Again, especially at Yankee Stadium, it's smaller. It's easier for him. Less tollage on his feet and his knees there. And of course, with his 6'7" frame there, he could go back to leaping up and stealing home runs there, over the right field wall. So good to see Judge back in right field. And a lot of players have mixed feelings on being a DH. You kind of sit around, do nothing between your at-bats, and you got to sit there and sulk. So, that takes a mental toll on you. Some players like Aaron Judge, for example, just likes playing the field. It makes him a better player. But other players, again, you have your mental aspect we can do. As for the Yankees, obviously, Stanton's going to be out with the elbow issue there. Really no timetable exactly when he's going to return there. So, the Yankees looks at the start of the season, as I mentioned before, he's probably going to feature a lot of Ben Rice. So, Ben Rice probably gets a lot of those at-bats. Again, he's been crushing this spring there, hitting the long ball there. So, again, he's going to get the spot at the start of the season. But, of course, some guys can use some time off, and someone like Paul Goldschmidt, who's 37 years old, he's going to need a day off once in a while, so you want to keep his bat in there, but get him off his feet. He'll probably get some, starts there at the DH spot, and of course I mentioned the big man, Aaron Judge as well. early in the season. If you could maybe get some games, get him some breathers where he's just hitting and not playing the field there, maybe save a little bit more in the battery for when you need him in October, which again there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Aaron Judge. We know he had the bad October there, so maybe he got a little fatigued a little bit and got out of his game there, so maybe he'll be a little fresher at the end of the season. Get him some DH bats early on. Let's go over the starting five because Garrett Cole's gone with the Tommy John surgery. Luis Gil's going to be out probably at least till June with the lat issue there. So what the Yankees got to work with, well, you got the free agent Max Fried there, who really turns out to be a huge sign with the fact that you lost Cole there. Rendon, as we know now, in the third season as the Yankee. Marcus Stroman, who started off with the drama that he was only a starting pitcher. Well, he got his wish, I guess. I hope he didn't wish that for Cole and Luis Gil to get hurt, but nevertheless, had a bit of an up and down spring there, but he's going to be your number 3 starter. And then from there, we mentioned with Carrasco, and of course, Will Warren taking those last 2 spots there, and we'll see how long this goes. At some point, probably Clark Schmidt will be back in the mix there, but at least for the first turn of the rotation, that's what you're looking at. Well, talking about pitching, I got to try it. I'm here, I got to try it. Let's see. Now, when you get to the game, the first thing you sit in your seat and you're like, well, I'm hungry, I want to eat now. Now, the Yankee Stadium's having some problems over the past couple of seasons. Again, the food option has been great. I know every year they kind of introduce little new things just to make it appeasing. Again, this is the one thing the Mets and Citi Field does better than the Yankees, that's the food option. But the Yankees are trying to up their game, and they did that for 2025 there. So I've done the research for you, so we're going to go right back to our fake desk here. And these are the new items you'll be able to see. So first, you got the infamous Brooklyn dumpling stops. So if you like dumplings there, they got all types of pork dumpling, beef dumpling, stuff like that. So you'll catch that there. This one's gonna really turn heads. I think it's gonna be a huge winner for them. The Jamaican beef patty. Now, you get that out in the street, maybe a couple blocks away here, but you actually have the Jamaican beef patty in the stadium with that ground beef there, spicy ground beef. That should be really good news for you there. Now, there's a company called Nuchas. They also a little Mexican flair there. They do empanadas. So you got the beef patty, empanada, almost kind of the same thing a little bit, but they'll be there as well. Also, now we have the Sweet Pea Bakery, so you get your cookies, you get your muffins there, add on the calories, add on the sugar. That's why you want to go to a baseball game now. Something's ready there is Christian Petroni. Yes, he's been there for a couple seasons, but he's got some new items there and more on the dessert one, and this one's really turning some heads. So we got the Mr. Softy Soft Serve. So the Mr. Softy truck with the jingle. This is not going to have the jingle, but you can have the soft serve Mr. Softy ice cream in the helmet as well. This is going to be another big winner, the tiramisu in the helmet. So that's really, fans are really looking forward for that one there. And of course, some of the other ones there introducing new things like more chicken tenders, chicken fingers. Not going to beat that to death. See a lot of people doing the chicken thing a lot there. And last but not least, you want a good cocktail. You want to make an impression, a good impression with the people around you. Well, this season you can look forward to the Aspen Espresso Martini there. So you have about 3 of those with the beef patty and the tiramisu there. And I have to go back to the bathroom again. I don't know why. Now, because they have to sell more jerseys, you might have noticed a little something different this year. So Nike, with certain players who won awards last season, they're going to have the little gold in the back of the jersey. Now, as it relates to the Yankees, they actually have 2 of them, because Aaron Judge winning the MVP and Luis Gil, of course, winning the American League Rookie of the Year. But unfortunately with Gil, he's been gone for half the season. So, you got this whole big promo with jerseys, and Luis Gil's not going to be around for half the season. But that's how it works out. So it's all the award winners. It's the 2 MVPs, Judge and Ohtani, the 2 Cy Young Award winners, and of course the 2 Rookies of the Year. Again, if you want to splurge $200 on a jersey, knock yourself out. So that's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the audio podcast of Section 420 Talkin Yankees, as well as here on YouTube. And again, if you're on TV, got double duty there. So a lot of look forward to this season. We know we're bummed out about Garrett Cole there, but they have a really good chance there. Have a good season even without him. Maybe at the trade deadline, you have to pick up a big arm there. But I think the offense is going to be much better than they were at the start of last season. The bullpen is much deeper than we had last season as well. And of course, Devin Williams as the closer over Clay Holmes. I'll take that any day of the week. Good luck with the Mets there. So that's the episode. Hope you enjoy it. Catch you next time.